Hello, this is Ron from Joaracrafts, and today we're making the Necromantic Swamp Dice set. This is one of the first dice sets we ever made when learning how all of this works, and today we're sharing it with you. We will start by adding a bit of avocado alcohol ink in the two-part resin mix and stir it all together. This dice set was done mostly because at the time we were playing D&D in a goblin campaign, and I was playing a goblin and also a crocodile in Mutants and Masterminds. But I didn't have any green dice at the time, so I just made my own because I couldn't find any that I liked. I wasn't super happy with the green color here, so I added a few more drops to the mix. And once the green alcohol ink and resin are well combined, we'll pour the resin mix into the mold, and we want to fill it in for about 40 to 50% on each dice. Before we continue for this dice set, I like to add a bit of black alcohol ink directly into the green resin and poke it up a bit with a toothpick to create some of those fun swirl effects in the resin. Making these dice was basically a very good challenge because it was a bit tricky to get the swirls going, and yeah, a nice way to get into this dice making hobby. In this next step, we mix black mica powder to the two-part resin mix, and the reason we prefer to separate the two colors here is because the green mix uses more alcohol ink than usual for the deep color, so we want to avoid oversaturating the first mix with even more coloring. Once the black mix is evenly combined, you'll want to fill up the rest of the mold right to the top. Just to make sure the dice has some cool black swirls, we go back to our zigzag, poke poke and swirl technique here. And once we're done with the toothpick poking, we can use the remaining black and green resin to fill in the cap of the mold, just to make sure that we get no bubbles in the numbers. Always make sure to pop any of surface bubbles with the letter as well. And once there's no more bubbles, we'll want to cap off the mold and place it on a pressure pot for 24 hours. And once the resin rises from the pressure pot, we'll start sanding and polishing the dice. The concoction is now ready to be decorated with this ancient mummy paint. Since this is a squeeze bottle, we prefer to drop the paint directly into the dice and paint it with any sort of brush we have lying around, even if it's overly used and old. Once all the numbers are filled, we wipe off any excess paint, and if you don't like to get messy, you can always opt to use a paper towel or similar, but we just use our fingers here. To wipe off the remaining paint from the dice, we use a small fiber cloth with a bit of alcohol. This cleans the dice of any dry remnants of paint and works together with the polish work done earlier to make the dice shiny again. And here's how this Necromantic Swamp Dice set turned out. I have to say, I really enjoy how pretty these dice look just naturally, but also when looking through them facing a light source. The green color is amazing, and the black swirls within really give that evil vibe you would get from visiting the necromancer whose lair lies deep within an overgrown jungle or fetid swamp. It can be quite tricky to get the colors right for this set, or even manage to get a nice swirl going, but overall this is a nice type of dice to start creating your own if that's a hobby you are ever interested in getting into. With that said, it's time to try this die out. So let's roll them out and check how pretty they are in some glamour shots later on. We really hope you enjoyed this Necromantic dice set, and if you did, please leave a like and let us know what you thought with a comment down below. Also, share this video with your friends if they're interested in making dice or learning how to create their own dice sets as well. And finally, subscribe to our channel if you'd like to stay up to date with the things we do. Thank you very much for watching, and may the dice roll in your favor. Bye bye!